Hello, everybody. This is your boy, the Almighty Green Talents, bringing you Week 3 Keys to Victory. Washington Commanders at Philadelphia, which is this weekend's game coming up. Sunday afternoon game, evening game. I think it's a 3 o'clock game that's coming on. But before I begin, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe to the video. Hit that notification bell on top. And don't forget to smash those likes because that will get the videos circulating throughout social media. Alright, now let's jump right into it. Now, I had enough time to practice this before I decided to make the video. Had a few days actually. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to say this and make it a point where a lot of people in Eagles Nation can understand where I'm going and coming from. We're going to start with the Detroit Lions. Then we're going to work our way to the Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles and what they need to do. Okay, Detroit Lions was the number one seed in the NFL, the playoffs. Eagles was number 2. Washington was 6. The Detroit Lions had a patchwork defense. They defensive end, they first round pick from University of Michigan a couple of years ago, all pro defensive end edge rusher, had a season-ending knee injury. His season is done. His season ended. I think it was like before week 8 or week 9. He had an injury and he went out. He was done. Then after that, the trigger effect started to happen to the Detroit defensive line. They had one of their defensive tackles went out with a season-ending injury. They had that first round pick linebacker from the previous year went out with an injury. They had a patchwork secondary. So the Detroit line had about 7 or 8 players on defense that was hurt. Their defense was patchwork. They had some second and third string defensive backs, linebackers, and defense and their front 4. Patchwork. Aaron Glenn did the best he could with that patchwork defense, and it actually worked pretty good until they got to the playoffs. They lost 2 games before the regular season came to an end. They lost their last game against the Washington Commanders. Detroit Lions offense was top notch. They didn't lose nobody on offense other than their center. Their center went out with a season-ending injury. That's the only player they had that went out with injuries. But overall, their entire offense was together. Their defense was patchwork, and their secondary was suspect at best. Here's what you got to understand. When your defense ain't that good, your defensive special teams is going to be horrible. Your punt return is going to be mediocre at best because your defense is supposed to be 1, 2, 3 off the field, and for the offense to get back on the field in good position to score. When your defense is constantly getting marched on, and you can't stop the run, latter part of the season, you become suspect to the passing game. Which leads me to the Washington Commanders. A 6th ranked team went into Detroit, their home turf, and beat them 45-31. That was a 20 that was a 15 or 16 point beatdown. Not a blowout, beatdown. Only way it'd be a blowout if Detroit, if Washington Commanders scored 45 points and they had like 15 or 18 points somewhere up in there, then that'd be a blowout. But when 45-31, it's not a blowout. You just lost by you basically lost by 3 scores, but you were down by 3 scores, and there's no way in the world that they Washington Commanders, Detroit were going to come back offensively because the quarterback Goff threw 4 interceptions in that game. Four interceptions, and they had 2 fumbles. And the Washington defense is not that good. But here's the thing. The head coach is a defensive-minded guy. He put Washington defense in position to get sacks and turnovers. That's what he did. And when your offense, like the Detroit Lions, marching down the field, and you put the ball into the end zone. Now you had what was it? He threw 3 touchdown passes, 4 picks, plus the 2 fumbles because he fumbled the ball, and I think the running back fumbled the ball. I believe I could be wrong on that, but I can imagine when you got 5 turnovers. All I know is he threw 4 from what I've heard. It's either 4, 3, 4, or 5. So don't quote me on that. That's it. That is extremely sad. Now we can get to the Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders are coming into the Philadelphia Eagles turf smelling themselves. They feel they beat the number 1 ranked team, that they can come into Philadelphia and beat the number 2 team. Now, let it be warned and let it be heard. No rookie quarterback has never taken a team to the playoffs. It never happened in recent memory, but it's a possibility it could happen if the Eagles don't be on their P's and Q's. Washington offense is top 10. Their defense is below 25 at best, which means they are subject to the run, but good against the pass. Because they got a 2nd-year cornerback who AJ Brown abused a lot last year. He was a rookie, and now he's a little bit better. He's in the 2nd year. They also drafted another corner, so their corners are okay. Their secondary is pretty much. Their secondary ain't the best, but they're okay. Their front 7 is not that good, but their coach put them in position to make plays. The Eagles offense is ranked in the top 5, but their defense is ranked number 1. Now, the Eagles is the best talented team that's left in this NFC Conference Championship game. Detroit, the Commanders are a far ways off from being as good as we are. They're far ways off. They're getting there. This Eagles team gonna have to march into their home turf and put the beat down on the Washington Commanders. They're gonna have to run the ball effectively, but Washington is gonna come in trying to contain the run game, which means that they're gonna put 5 and 6 men in the box, or that they're gonna do some run blitzes to contain Saquon Barkley, which means Hurts gonna have to be on key and get ready to pass this ball against the Washington Commanders. As a matter of fact, he did. If you guys remember, in the first game against the Washington Commanders, Hurts threw for over 200 yards passing, 3 touchdown scores, I believe, because he won that game. What was it, 37-20, something like 37-21? I think that's what the score. I could be wrong about the score, but he did put up 30 points against the Washington Commanders the first meeting. The second meeting was a different story. It was a low-scoring game. Because the Washington Commanders got better. And matter of fact, they won like 4 or 5 games until we met them. So you got to look at all the statistics wise as far as their whole team as a whole. The Eagles are going to come in. They're going to have to come in and run the ball with some efficiency. They're going to have to pass with some efficiency. Hurts need to have at least 2 or 3 touchdowns passing in this game. If he can run for 1, that'll be great, because Hurts has a boundary on him. Their defensive coordinator was named Joe Joe Pitts or Joe Brick, whatever his name is, he put a bounty on Hurts. That he said that if the Hurts runs the football out of the backfield, they're going to treat him like a running back and they're going to hit him. That's called a bounty. And I'm surprised that the league haven't fined that coach, that defensive assistant coach for saying what he said in the media about what he's gonna do to Jalen Hurts if he runs the ball. The second thing about Washington I want to talk about is that linebacker. What's his name? Lovo, whatever his name is. He is the reason why Hurts went out the last time. That's the last time in the second meeting. He went down when Hurts went down on his knee. Actually, Hurts slid. When Hurts slid forward, getting ready to. Well, actually, he did slide. That linebacker went helmet first, and that was a dirty hit. And I don't understand why that play was not called. That should have been a 15-yard automatic first down, and it wasn't. So the Eagles are going to be weary of that linebacker. They're going to punch that dude back. They're going every time he come in for a blitz, they need to push him on his ass. Every time. They need to know where he's at all costs. If he's coming off the edge, they need to put a pump on him as quick as possible to contain him, left or right, because this linebacker they got, he's a very good blitzer. He can blitz off the edges and he can blitz up the gut. So wherever he's at, they're going to have to find him and put a halt to him at all costs, keep him clean, keep him off Hurts. That's the key for the offensive line. Offensive line going to block, stick with their assignments and blocks, because the game against what was it? That wasn't Green Bay. The game, what's it, Green Bay? Was it Green Bay? No, it wasn't Green Bay. This is the Eagles' third team they're playing. The team that the Eagles played, they did a bunch of stunts. They confused the Eagles' offensive line. And Hurts got sacked. I think they said he got sacked 5 times in the game. I thought it was 4. He got sacked five or six times in that game. Might have been 7. I'm not exactly sure. I could be off. But I know he got sacked more than 3 times. That I do know. And so the Eagles gonna have to be very wary of the stunt packages, because Washington can bring them stunts. They got some linebackers that can do it, and they got some outside rushers that can also come up the gut and do it. So it's gonna be some stunt plays to try to confuse the offensive line. So the Eagles offensive line is going to pick up their assignments, block, and protect Hurts, keep Hurts clean, and hope Hurts can see downfield and get the ball out of his hands, because Hurts the game that the Eagles played last week, that sack in the end zone was extremely uncalled for. It was an uncalled for sack. Hurts gonna have to get that ball out at a timely manner. He can't afford to be sacked 5, 6, 7 times in this game, and definitely can't afford no more safeties, because we do not want to give this Washington team no momentum in this game. They're already going to be motivated they're motivated already. So why we want to add more motivation by allowing them to get sacks, get these 2-point safety sacks. We can't allow that anymore. The Eagles going to figure out some way to stay out of their own end zone, because that's where that sack came in at. That sack was an end zone sack. And he held onto the ball too long, and when he did, he went down with the ball in our own end zone for a safety. We can't do that no more. We cannot do that no more. So it's all about blocking assignments. If they got the match protect, to if they got to keep Goddard in there majority of the game to protect the match protect, to keep Hurts clean, so be it. Something needs to be done there. The Eagles gonna have to dominate Washington from the first whistle to the last whistle blown. They're gonna have to. We want to knock the momentum off their face as quick as possible and keep them off our butts. Secondly, the Eagles defense. The Eagles defense is ranked number 1. They've been ranked number 1 when they beat the when they and before the game they played before Baltimore, they were ranked number one. Now Pittsburgh, when the Eagles played Pittsburgh, they became their defense went from like 3-1 in a heartbeat because of the additions of Quinyon Mitchell and last but not least Cooper DeJean. The Eagles linebackers have been throwing off the ball, but now we got one guy on defense hurts, and that's no other than Nakobe Dean, who's out with a season-ending knee injury, and that injury is a PCL injury, and that injury is gonna keep him out all the way into next season. They say he might be back by week 10 or week 11. That'll be damn near the season damn near gone by the time he comes back. That's if they play him that year. It's a possibility they can keep him out. He probably want to be a healthy stretch when he does come back off. When he does come back off injury, he probably want to be healthy. The Eagles are gonna play him during the last part of the week to be sure that he's 100% healthy to play, or they gonna cancel him out the entire year, let him come back 2026. Be ready to play. The Eagles linebacker, well, other than Zach Bond, Oren Burke gonna have to play better than what he played last week. He played decent last week, but he got to play a little bit better this time around because Washington is gonna come with some things that we probably hadn't seen. Then you got King Clifford. Cliff Kingsbury, who is a top-notch offensive coordinator, and he had the up-tempo offense that he runs, and the Eagles are going to be weary of the quick action plays over the middle. They're going to be weary of Jalen Daniels running that ball. They want to cause he's the featured runner. Their other running back Robinson, Michael Robinson, he's okay, but he ain't no quick dasher like Jalen Daniels. They're gonna have to stop and put a lid on Jalen Daniels. They're gonna have to contain him at all costs. If they have to put a spy on him majority of the game, so be it. But he has to be watched at all times. One thing about them, when you put a spy on one player, you're leaving a certain part of the field open. So they probably not gonna spy him as much, but they're gonna spy him from time to time. When they feel he's a run threat, they probably spy him then. But other than that, they probably won't. But this Eagles defense gonna have to put a lid on Washington, especially Garrett Terry. Garrett Terry has to be watched. He has to be contained. I don't want to see Garrett. I do not want to see Garrett Terry in the end zone. Quentin Michael did a pretty good job on him. Pretty good job on him the first time around. The second time around, he still did a pretty good job on Garrett Terry, because Garrett Terry had like 3 or 4 catches for like 60 or 70 yards. He didn't break the 100-yard mark on Quinyon Mitchell. So Quinyon Mitchell still did a pretty good job with him the second meeting. But now this is the playoffs. This is a whole new different ball game, whole new different battlefield, whole new different chapter. This is week 3. This is for the NFC Conference Championship. That is the key to the Super Bowl. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. A lot is on the line here. The Eagles went to the Super Bowl. The Eagles went 11-7 last year and fell out of the first round. The first round wild card game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who beat them 35-20 points, something like that. What it was. That was a horrible loss. It left a bad taste in our mouths. I hope the Eagles keep that bad taste in their mouth against the Washington Commanders. Matter of fact, when we played the Washington Commanders last time, they left a bad taste in our mouths. So this is kind of a redemption game for the Philadelphia Eagles. The only thing about it, this is more of a different redemption team. The last time the Eagles had a redemption game was against the Dallas Cowboys back in 2014. Chip Kelly with the I'm sorry, 2013, when Chip Kelly became head coach. Dallas Cowboys beat us bad the first meeting, the second meeting. The Eagles had a redemption game, and they beat the Dallas Cowboys with intercepting the ball. The cornerback, I forgot that dude's name, but he intercepted the ball, and that ended the game. That was the Eagles' last redemption game. This one here matters more than anything ever. It matters so much more because we got to get back to the Super Bowl, and whoever we face in the Super Bowl, we got to get there and win and claim our second title in 8 years. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's 8 years we have not won the Super Bowl. Haven't gotten nowhere near close to the NFC Conference Championship up until now. A lot's on the line. A lot's on the line. So, with that being said, I am the Almighty Green Talents, bringing you this video, Keys to Victory. I said all what I need to say in one lump sum. Hope you guys understand where I'm going to come from. If I said anything wrong in the video, please comment in the comment section below. Please like, sub the channel, and smash that notification bell so when I make these great videos for you and you're enjoying pleasure, you'll be able to like them and comment. But like I said, if I said anything wrong in this video, please comment. And I am the Almighty One, bringing you the keys to victory. Washington coming into Philadelphia. All jokes aside.